All right.
Good.
Let's do the S22 Pro teardown.
So just a couple of things I noticed off the bat. If this Velcro is done at the factory, it's good to see they're using one piece now that they cut and prep, because then the previous one always had these pieces falling off and they wouldn't adhere properly. So it's good to see, and then good to see they put the screw holes so you can actually access the screws.
Yeah, not to mention the Velcro they put preset on the sides now, because that's time consuming to do. And before they used adhesive, and now they use Velcro.
Form fitting too, so it looks nice.
Yeah.
It's not janky like if you were to do it yourself. Yeah. Still using the same thermal paste, which can get really messy if you're working on your wheel because it's not a dry pad. So just be careful. I have more than enough white thermal paste on me at all times. Let me just grab the other cover so you can put them side by side, because it's something that we did notice was a huge thing. Oh, we only. So if you look at the old S22 or the S20, because this was a very early model, the cover has this kind of finger-like looking design. The newer S22s, and this also applies to regular S22s like batch 2 or 3 and onwards, is they changed it to have a bigger space underneath that cover. The good part is when you put the motor cables back in and the hall sensor cables, there's less chance of you crimping any of the cables or destroying any of the cables under there. It's also much easier to reinstall. Unfortunately, however, you cannot interchange them because the screw pattern is different. So if you have the big one, great. If you have the small one, no luck to you.
Too bad.
Yeah. So I hate this white thermal paste because because it's always wet, which is great because you get a good seal. But I mean, it's just a mess to deal with.
It's collecting some fuzz. Oh, and this is how you do the quick motor swap on an S20.
Unless this pin is still attached. Oh, it's not attached for sure. There you go.
And that's how you take out the motor. Very cool. These are the new sliders.
So, these are the new sliders. They come with this middle piece that's compared. Oh shoot! I almost walked into that.
So these sliders have about 200 to 300 kilometers of mileage on them. They don't look too bad considering.
Lots of rain.
Yeah, they've been lots of rain in Vancouver. They're shocked that you have that many kilometers on it, but not much dirt mileage.
So this is the KingSong one. This is the new Honingning one.
These are the ones we sell on our website?
The ones that we saw on the website, yeah.
Yeah.
So the bearings, so they're doing it the old Honingning style, which is a screw for each bearing. Mm-hmm. You still have to remove this to kind of get at the screws, similar to the Honingning. I think the bearings are slightly different based on the two.
They're a little bit smaller.
I can see there's some bearing damage on this one already. And then the new ones for Honingning are these styles, so you can see that they don't have these centerpieces. Now, I'm not sure how much benefit these do or how much benefit they'll give you. These ones are held in by C-clips, so they're easier to install and reinstall or change out bearings.
Yeah.
Now, there was a small issue with these style of bearings where manufacturing, sometimes they could have bubbles inside the bearing itself. Unfortunately, like that's not something you can really prevent because it's at such a detailed level of manufacturing that you can't guarantee or you can't really see the air bubbles as much. Being that this one has a thicker rubber on it, it could be more durable, but also more susceptible to that rubber, that bubbles problem. But I will say, I don't know, I've never really ridden the S22 Pro and tested out the suspension, but I don't know how smooth it is compared to the Honingning ones.
Yeah, we haven't compared the two, but...
You haven't compared the two?
No, not yet.
Oh. So that's maybe something that you can add into your review later.
Yeah. We should put
Because I
these
hear
on
that
our
these
shop
do
one.
have some resistance comparatively to the Honingning ones.
Okay.
Yeah. You probably think you want more resistance, but what you might actually want is just more dampening.
Oh, or thicker string.
Yeah. Because like this resistance will fight you on all directions.
Yeah.
Whereas dampening, you can tailor the rebound and compression field to what you want. Yeah. You can see how much thicker this middle piece is though compared to the Honingning. So I think that if it gets, depending on the tolerance on the battery case, like it slid out pretty well. We can take a look at the battery case later and see if there is any friction on it. So this is the S22 Pro battery boxes. Now I did notice that there's actually quite a lot of metal scrapage from the suspension sliders.
Yeah, this side too.
You can see all the silver aspects on both sides. Now it seems like most of that slippage is in the front and the back of the wheel, but there's also some down here in the front and on the front and bottom. So because the sliders they've designed them to be a lot thicker, I think that's rubbing a little bit on the edges there. There's already some rust forming on these springs, but it's not a critical item.
Yeah, fairly normal when you're
Yeah.
riding in rainy Vancouver all the time.
There's the motor. Oh, it looks like they changed the seal a little bit. It's now brown.
So they did, yeah.
It used to be black.
I wonder if that prevents the popping issues we have with
The
some of
case used to be shiny and now it's matte. I mean,
Cool.
fairly small stuff.
Yeah, but
Rim
it
looks
is
basically the
slightly changed. Oh, that's because of the new manufacturer that made this, right? It actually has a Jan Vico's. This is like the seal's made by a company.
The seal's made by NGK.
Oh, that one is also too. Okay, so they're different. Oh, this is
Is it also NGK?
no, it's a UKS, I think, or YKS.
Okay.
This
Doesn't have. Oh, interesting. That's very interesting.
What's that?
There's a lip.
To make it easier, or?
No, to have better water sealing.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, smart.
Yeah. Makes it harder to remove. There's usually like when the rim goes down,
Yeah.
there's a lip on the cover this way where your tire lever, or when you're prying it, you can rest it on here and pry
Yeah.
without worrying about the tire going in. Now they moved that onto the rim, so when you're prying, it's very easy for the tire levers to slip in, and I don't want to damage the
Right.
magnets.
Yeah, I'm Doug's replacement.
There you go. Now that could be the bearing just moved slightly as we were moving it, but it's just an observation.
Oh, there's a bit of a gap between the.
Between the bearing and the
Yeah.
seal. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. There you go. Whew. You'll see here that the old rim, they have the lip on the inside here, whereas on the new rim they put the lip on the very outside edge.
This is the old motor core. This is the new one. It doesn't look like there's too much difference, to be honest. All right, not much to it. That was uneventful. But it was good that we showed it. I mean, it could be the controller that's.
Well, this is your temperature sensor right here.
Is there a temperature sensor here?
I think it's on the other side.
Yeah, slight differences, but the extra power is most likely coming from controller improvements. I don't know. Looks like about the same amount of copper.
So from the factory, if you're planning to ride this wheel in proper Vancouver rain, like if you look here, actually the corrosion actually come up onto the lip, all along this edge. So if you plan to ride this properly in rain, I would look into getting a bit more of a better seal on there. It will make it harder to kind of replace down the line or kind of take it apart down the line. But if it's hard for you to remove it, it's also hard for water to get in. So it's a double whammy there. So here's the new controller. I mean, visually they look pretty similar to me, I'll tell you that much. I mean, they're the same. No, they're basically the same. Because it says S20 on there, it says S20 there. Version 2.3, version 2.3, same manufacturing
changed
date.
or anything? It's.
I would assume no, since all the versions, like if you look at the board, there's this version and manufacturer.
I wonder if this is one of the newer ones. Then the ones they sent us are maybe already the improved ones.
Could be. Yeah, because this main board date is the same, the part number.
Okay. Yeah, it could be different than the original version, but these are the exact same controllers. It looks
Exactly
like.
the same, yeah. Yeah, with the S22, the controller does really well in water, mainly because one, they have no buttons on the top side of the casing. So if you look at the cover, there's no real buttons or holes for it to get into, except for the screw holes. Most of it's covered by the seat anyway, so it's pretty well sealed. They relocated all the buttons and everything, charge ports under here, which is a plus and a minus if you ask me, because it's like you're hunting for a certain spot with your fingers.
Yeah.
And then this area here is sealed against the battery case, so all the connectors are sealed within the body. So there's a very small chance of water ingress. The only thing I will say is that when people do take their wheels apart, the foam tends to get destroyed. Like even on the stock one here, you can see that the foam doesn't really, it kind of sunk in there, which means that the seal won't be as great. But it's a thought that they put in that counts.
Yeah,
So.
it's a lot better than the S18, for example.
Yeah. I mean, all the newer wheels have a lot of good water focus put on them compared to wheels from last year.
So yeah, that wasn't too bad. Like the improvements aren't drastic.
No, it's all very iterative. If you have an S22, ride it till you die. The S22 is still a great wheel. If you're in the market for an S22 style wheel, the S22 Pro is a good upgrade for you to get.
Yeah.
Similar to like an iPhone 13 and 14.
Yeah,
if you have
that's
a
a
13,
good
don't buy the
analogy.
14. If you have a 12, maybe consider it.
Yeah, maybe wait for the 15 if you have a 13.
Exactly.
Yeah. The sliders are the biggest upgrade component, but you can also buy sliders from us,
Correct.
aftermarket sliders, if you want to upgrade your current S22. And other than that, the Velcro is just a convenience factor, pre-Velcroed instead of the adhesive.
Yeah, it is pre-Velcroed. I mean, you can buy the 4-inch Velcro on AliExpress and do it yourself. It's just basically what they did.
Yeah, the Pro name, I don't know if it deserves the Pro name, but
No.
the improvements are still, I'm thankful for them.
Yeah, maybe like an S22 Plus.
Yeah. There you have it, guys. Cheers. Guys.